visiting my channel, Thinking Like a Virtuous Woman, where I inspire women to think like the woman in Proverbs 31, spiritually, financially, and also relationally. So I wanted to talk about an interview that I watched of the comedian Miss Pet on the Shannon Sharp show. And I resonated so much with what she was saying because I have struggled with the same thoughts. So she talked about how, she thinks about where she came from, the type of family she came from, and things she's gone through. And she sometimes wonders, like, how did I make it out of that? How did I, become so hungry to get out of my, to break these cycles in my family and to get out of these circumstances? And, and it's like a feeling of like, God, why me? And I've had those moments, and I've shared a little bit of my story on this channel, but I come from an abusive background. I come from, drugs. My mom died when I was 10 of AIDS. And before she passed away, she did get her life together. After she had me and all of that, she got her life together and all of that. So I never knew that side of my mother that my siblings experienced. But I went through abuse at the hands of several family members, physical abuse and sexual abuse. And I'm the only person that's on this journey that I'm on. I have been determined to break the cycles that are in my family. All of the women have died early. My aunts, my grandmother, my mom, all of that. And I've always been determined to break the cycle. And I don't know where that came from. I'm thankful that it's there, but I related to her because some people, they grow up in those environments and they become the exact thing that they were exposed to, right? They become the abuser, they become the drug addict and all of that. But for me, I was actually turned off by it. I didn't want any of that. I wanted better. And I remember being 9 years old and, we weren't a Christian household. We didn't go to church. I remember on Easter, though, maybe a couple of times on Easter, we went to church, maybe. I know we definitely dressed up. Even if we didn't go to church, we would definitely dress up for Easter Sunday and Easter Monday, right? But at 9 years old, I was drawn into the church that was at the corner where I lived. And I was just drawn to church, and I started going every Sunday, and I was involved. And that's how I started really learning about God and learning about Jesus. And one thing my mother had instilled in me was praying. We always prayed. We didn't live the life, like I said, but she always made sure we prayed. We prayed before we went to sleep. And we also said, a prayer. Okay, so my video cut off in the middle of doing that. I did not even realize it cut off. I was just steady talking. So I'm going to keep this really quick, the rest of this really quickly, because I don't want it to cut off again. But I was just saying that I was just thankful for the foundation my mother set. And I'm just thankful that God literally called me. He called me into his church. He called me into his kingdom. And I'm thankful for that. And, it's sometimes you do have the feelings of why me, but then it's like also like, why not me? And, you can even have, moments of guilt where it's like, dang, like I see what the people around me are doing and what they become. And it's like, you almost feel a sense of guilt for becoming better. And then you also have those people around you that will say you think you're better when you really don't believe that at all, and so sometimes it can be a lonely journey. But again, I'm just so thankful for God loving me the way he does. I'm thankful for him snatching me up out of my mess. Like, my book is called Pain, Promiscuity, Purpose, from Mess to Ministry. And I talk about the mess that I was born into and also the mess that I put myself in. And I thank God for literally snatching me up out of my mess and literally turning it into a ministry, and I am not perfect. As I mentioned, I'm the only one in this journey, but that doesn't mean I don't have a past, because I did for a long time. I was in some mess, and I talk about that in my book, but I was always convicted. It was like I always knew that that's not what I was supposed to be doing. I was always still in church. I would be sometimes coming from certain places Saturday night, even early Sunday morning. There's been times I went to church wearing what I had on Saturday night. That's how much I needed to be in church. And I just thank God for having his hand on me. I thank God for putting it in me to want more, and not being content with what was around me, what I was born into, what I saw. And so I'm just wondering if any of you guys can relate to that. I know when I seen it, it brought tears to my eyes, because I was like, wow, I get it. Like, I am so thankful. It's weird sometimes because it's like, dang, how did I make it out of that? It's amazing. It's really amazing, because when you look at statistics, I'm not supposed to be who and what I am today, but God. So I'm thankful. I don't want to make this too long. I don't want my phone to cut off again, but definitely let me know in the comments if you can relate. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it. If you want to hear more from me, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I haven't posted here in a while. Every time I post here, I say I'm going to do better, but listen, I have other YouTube channels I post on, and then between work and business, life just happened. But it's actually my goal this year to post more on this channel, because I need to. I have to. Like, I've been convicted about that, actually. But anyway, go ahead and like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thank you again for visiting my channel. Be blessed.
I look back over my life and I look at some of my relatives, and I know I could have been in the place they was in. And I don't know what God instilled in me to make me so hungry on the inside to change my circumstance. But he put something in me to say I wasn't going to live like this. Y'all ain't going to treat me like this.